Good morning, Nerdfighteria. So this video is something I've been meaning to make for a while, but kinda kept forgetting about editing or about making it. So we're gonna cut to some nature footage that I recorded back in May. I wanted to talk about online conferences because that's something I've done a lot of this past year and will have a couple more in the coming months. The reason for the online conferences is the pandemic, but that's not the focus of this video. Focus of this video is talking about the pros and cons of online conferences, because they have improved accessibility for a lot of people, but they also come with their challenges and some drawbacks. So I'm going to start with the challenges and drawbacks and then switch over to the pros afterwards. So a big drawback for me was I can't focus when I'm staring at a bunch of different screens, going back and forth between the conference, the actual videos for the talks, looking at posters, having Discord and Reddit as distractions. Very distracting for me. So I really struggled with that. And another thing with the online conference as a drawback was everything had to be ready way in advance of when it would be for an in-person conference. It's very common at an academic conference to see the people who are going to be giving talks finishing up their talk about 2 hours before they give it. So having to have my talk ready 2 weeks in advance was a big change from those expectations. Honestly, the biggest drawback, if you ask me, is the change in how you interact with people. At a normal in-person academic conference, a big part of the conference is going and talking to people, whether it's going to their posters, asking questions during talks, or just running into people in the hallway. I met so many people at the conference that I went to when I was an undergrad that was in person. I met so many people just meeting them in the hallway and made a lot of really valuable academic connections that helped me get to where I am today. And you just don't get that as much online, because the ways that you interact at an online conference are email people after their talk, sending messages in a chat window, or getting surprise thrown into a Zoom room that you didn't know was going to exist for the poster session. But there's also some advantages here, and so bringing it around to the advantages of an online conference, a lot more people can attend, because academic conferences, the travel, the hotels, the registration, that money adds up fast. And when they're done in person, usually people will pick one conference to go to per year, and that is their conference. And if they don't go to it, you may not ever meet them. With an online conference, though, travel fees, gone. Hotels, don't have to stay at a hotel, you stay at your house. So then it's just the registration. And that makes the conference registration a lot more accessible to a lot more people, especially once you start adding in people with disabilities who may not be able to travel, parents of young children who may not be able to afford a babysitter. The online conference does have a bit of an advantage there. Another thing is that with online conferences that there's captioning tools for all these pre-recorded talks. So people who have troubles with audio processing, whether it's deaf and hard of hearing individuals or just people who understand content better with captions, that became an option with online conferences that was either harder to get or not possible to have during in-person conferences. Another advantage of the in-person conference, sort of related to one of the cons actually, is the online chat feature. Because for some people it may be intimidating to get up and ask a question, but it's a lot less intimidating to just type it into a chat window and it's just there in the void. Well, I hope you enjoyed my discussion of pros and cons of virtual conferences and coming along for my cool down walk after my run. That's one of the things I like doing to get to relax. So have a good weekend. Don't forget to be awesome.